we've only just begun.
Let's please welcome to the stage Eileen Naughton of Google. Thank you.
And yes, we've just begun.
Thank you, Guy. I'm delighted to be here. Always lovely to hear from Sir Martin, who is more friend than foe, as far as we're concerned. I am a recent transplant to the UK. I couldn't be more excited to be here. I think this is an incredibly dense, exciting market for marketing and advertising, and you heard earlier on for digital, which is the most advanced market in Google's ecosystem, and certainly a fun place to work. When someone's new at Google, we always do a little icebreaker. I thought I might do it here. And the most common question we ask a newcomer is, what was your first concert? Tells a little something about someone. Well, mine was Elton John at Madison Square Garden. And it was one of these curious events where when he was singing Candle in the Wind, I noticed all these people holding up cigarette lighters and waving their cigarette lighters in support of his kind of ballad. And I thought, this is kind of curious. This is strange behavior. I didn't smoke. I didn't have a lighter. So, you know, felt a little left out. But then I realized as I went to other concerts, this is how it goes. This is a concert-going behavior. Well, it's a little different these days. Are we advancing? No. This is what happened in Paris last night with Jay-Z and Beyonce. A completely different behavior.
Everybody put a lighter, cell phone, whatever you got in the air. Let's light the stadium up. I want to see every light, every cell phone, whatever you got, light it up.
Crazy. It was a sea of light, and you no longer, woo, things are happening here. You no longer have to feel left out for not smoking, because it's a sure thing that if you're at a rock concert, you have a mobile phone with you. And your mobile device serves as a light, a camera, a web browser, a navigation system, a photo album, a calendar, and yes, as a phone as well. So in one way, the smartphone is the Swiss Army knife of the digital age. In the UK, 91% of the 25 to 34-year-old population has a smartphone. And this year, fully 72% of British adults carry a smartphone. Now, these are supercomputers in our pockets, with more processing power than the computers that were used to send Apollo 11 to the moon with the first humans in 1969. And they've changed everything effectively. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how technology is changing and accelerating, what this is doing to affect people and consumer behavior, some of the rules of business that it's changing and some of the business models that have crept up, and really what it means for your future, our future, those of us who work in media and advertising. Now, I have to agree with Sir Martin, we live in the most amazing time. It's a time where the tech revolution has really upended, disrupted, and improved so many things that we held to be common, but it's really still early morning on the web. We have about 2.5 million people online today. There will be about double that amount by 2020. And imagine the entire internet in your pocket, which is effectively what you have. The pockets of 5 billion people with all the world's information and massive amounts of computing power available all the time, 24/7. And imagine the creativity unleashed by 5 billion people who are connected. And it's estimated there could be 3 to 5 times as many connected devices that work off your mobile phones, making all of us and things around us smarter. Our homes, our cars, roads, warehouses, supply chains, power grids, everything. So compared to today, however, rather compared to tomorrow, what we're seeing today is really slow. The pace of change is slower today than it will ever be again in our lives. So strap on your haps, we better be ready. I think everyone in this room has a head start because we see the trends, we use the technology, and we live this business, right? We work in digital. But even we sometimes don't realize the pace at which things are changing. Moore's law, that wonderful little law that holds that every 18 months the number of transistors you can fit into the same piece of silicon doubles for about the same cost. And these chips that you see here are the same size. In 2005, you could store 128 megabytes, that's 128 million bytes on one transistor or one piece of silicon. Today, 9 years later, you could store 128 gigabytes, and a gigabyte is 1 billion bytes. So with all this incredible processing power, robotics is actually one area that is advancing quickly. And I just want to share with you a quick clip on something happening in Japan. It's not science fiction. It's a commercial fact. It's a very cool little robot named Pepper, which will be commercially available in next year for less than $2,000. So go Pepper.
He's talking to me right now. I thought I'd get down closer to his level here. Pepper is programmed to speak 17 languages, and the developers are really hoping that this technology will evolve into a sort of household companion. Imagine having a robot to take care of a senior citizen when their children couldn't be around, someone who could interact with them, perhaps call for help if there was an emergency. That's where this technology is heading. Next year, he will go on sale to the domestic market. The price tag for a base model just under $2,000 US. This is the future. You're looking at it right now. Will Ripley, CNN, Tokyo.
So it's absolutely happening. The Boston Consulting Group predicts that this year there will be about $1 billion of personal at-home use robotics. Next year, $2.5 billion, and within a decade, it'll be a $10 billion business. Robots will be able to clean, deliver medication, help with homework, offer companionship. They will report the news, drive cars, take out the trash. They will become our personal assistants. And it is not too far-fetched to think that in less than 10 years, having a robot in your home doing one of these tasks will be as common as having the supercomputer you have in your hand right now called your mobile device. All right, enough about robots. Let's talk about us, people. In many ways, nothing has changed since Maslow reported this hierarchy of needs and basic human requirements in 1943. We still need basic safety, shelter, that sort of thing. But if any of you have ever taken a teen to a remote vacation spot or a holiday spot, you know that you better have checked out that there's Wi-Fi. Otherwise, your holiday will be absolutely ruined, as almost happened to me not too long ago. So that is a reality, and frankly, globally, it's happened. We spend 147 minutes, that's 2.5 hours, every day on our mobile device. It's the most used device in our lives, more than TV, 113 million, desktop, 108, what's the other one, 50 tablets, 50 minutes. So yes, it has profoundly changed the way we live. We cannot seem to put it down. The National Geographic Society conducted this little experiment in Washington, D.C., and they had a mobile lane and a non-mobile lane, and of course it was an epic fail for the person on their mobile device. They didn't even pay attention to the fact that there was a fast lane, slow lane there. And frankly, because it's become the most used consumer device, it will be the hub of all these wearables that are inevitable and coming. It will become the remote control for our Internet of Things. It's early days in the world of wearables, but CCS Insight predicts that the installed base of wearable devices will surpass 250 million at the end of 2018. So let's take a look at the pace of some of this tech-led business innovation. Uber is fascinating to me. You saw this earlier. It is a software. It's a software that connects people with things they need, which happen to be a ride. It's a 5-year-old company, a truly mobile-first company. It's an app that connects consumers with what they want, a cab, a ride home. And it's the software that actually dispatches drivers and settles the transaction in one click. It is already in more than 200 cities in 45 countries, and it's reported to be doubling revenue every 6 months. A cab driver in New York City makes about $30,000. An UberX driver in New York City, which is their low-tier service, UberX, makes $90,000. They are signing up 7,000 new drivers per month. And remarkably, when cab drivers go on protest against this service that consumers love, app downloads skyrocket. They went up 850% here in June when cabbies struck all over the city. So this, all made possible by mobile. You can't stop a good thing that consumers love. Does anyone recognize what this man's jacket might be made of? You have kids? Loom bands, I'm wearing two. Okay, this is a phenomenon, it's a global phenomenon, and this gentleman is named Chong Chung Ang. He grew up in rural Malaysia, had very little money, and used to make jumping ropes out of rubber. He became an engineer, moved to the US, and one day he saw his daughters trying to make bracelets out of rubber bands, and they kept falling apart. So being an engineer, he went downstairs, got some scrap board, and made a grid so that they could create these woven bracelets. The next day they came home, they were heroes at school. Everyone was asking for more and more of these. So he decided to put his family's life savings, 6,000 pounds, into this little kit that he would sell. And of course, for months, no one would take this kit. He thought his money was fully at risk until his daughters uploaded some videos to YouTube that were instructional and showed people how to make these little loom bands. The rest is history. He got an order for 12 kits from an Ohio company. Later, they placed a $10,000 order. He is reputed to have made so far 80 million pounds, becoming an overnight success story. I love that story. And it's truly, what that story for me is, it's the power of YouTube, because everyone who's on the web is watching videos on the web. And interestingly, how-to and instructional videos on YouTube are in the top 5 categories of video views all the time. In the past 4 years in this country, TV viewership among the 16 to 34 demographic has fallen 15%. It's down 10% in the 35 to 54 demo. And just this year, digital overtook TV as the primary source of media consumption in Britain. So when I said you're advanced, I meant it. It is fascinating to see how profoundly fast that shift has happened in this country. And mobile is the key driver of this usage. 45% of all YouTube videos viewed in this country are viewed on a tablet or mobile device. So think about that. So why is it happening? Why are people consuming so much video? Well, first, we live in a world blessed with choice. And we don't just watch whatever happens to be on television anymore. We actively choose the content we want and watch it when we want, and we watch it on whatever device we want to watch it on. And many of us, especially, any of us who were born before the 70s, grew up in the primetime era, a period of rigid programming schedules and communal watching. But frankly, those days are over, because now primetime is all the time. And that's why stars like Jamie Oliver and massive TV franchises like Britain's Got Talent create bespoke content specifically for YouTube, so their fans can watch it when their fans choose. And consuming content is no longer a passive experience. It's become a really active participatory adventure where fans connect with creators, where they comment and share, where they actually embed ads in their social feeds. It's a phenomenon. So they make videos and covers of Pharrell's Happy. They pour ice buckets on their heads, as I did not too long ago. It's all jamming together in a very, very active, engaged way of consuming media. And these creators, Zoella and others, these are at the heart of this new culture. It's a new age of creativity, and for content makers and for fans and for marketers, it's a fascinating ecosystem, all made possible by platforms like YouTube. Take for Zoella for an instance. This is a young woman from Southern England. She has over 6 million subscribers to her YouTube channel here in the UK, an additional 2 million outside the UK. The content she produces has remarkable influence on her fans, and her influence on the beauty sector is larger and the interest in queries than even Beyonce's. So brands are choosing to embrace YouTube creators, finding new ways, as you saw earlier. Here is the Unilever All Things Hair channel. There are billions and billions of searches on Google.com for hair and hair treatments and hairstyles. Last year, there were almost 8 billion videos viewed on YouTube of hairstyling. So we worked with Unilever to create this ultimate destination for all things hair related on the web. You can buy products. It has hosted and curated a number of YouTube creators who actually are stylists and have large fan bases themselves. Since its launch, it has grown so fast that it's become the #1 channel for hair care on the web. And as Keith Wee, the CMO of Unilever, says, this is not big data, this is big insight. So what lessons can we learn from all of this? It's interesting to hear Sir Martin characterize Google. I think Google is above all an innovation company. It's a tech company. It has found itself a very important niche in the media space. But I thought I would share a few principles before I close that drive our company. And let's first look at something that's distinctly low tech in many ways, cardboard.
Google Cardboard. At first, some delegates here thought it was a joke, but this lowest of low-tech contraptions unravels to reveal startling high-tech credentials, magically transforming into a pair of 3D virtual reality specs when you slip a smartphone into the front. Using orientation sensors in your handset, the scene changes when you move it around. The two side-by-side pictures combine into a singular 3D image when you look through the lenses in the cardboard itself. The effect is quite mesmerizing and truly immersive when you fire up one of the experiences Google has made. One moment I'm taking a breathtaking tour over Chicago by simply gazing where I want to fly. If I look up, I'm transported to space and find myself looking down on Mother Earth.
Anyway, it's remarkable. Innovation can be scrappy and very low tech. This device was developed by one engineer in 6 months. It's common sense, it's affordable. £17.95 on Amazon, crazy. Kids love it, grown-ups love it too. It's one of the most enjoyable experiences. So the lesson there is just be fast. Next, be relevant. I think Google's marketing creative is really about making emotional connections to the magic of technology. And this campaign, it's a really new way of infusing data and marketing in new environments that are somewhat unexpected. Take a quick look.
Google Outside took search to digital outdoor screens across London, surfacing genuinely useful and entertaining content to people on the go. Say it was morning, you were somewhere unfamiliar, and you needed a coffee. Google Outside recommended cafes within walking distance. We took data from Google and partner APIs and made it work smarter. We built a layer of intelligence over the APIs that sorted the data based on factors such as day of the week, time of day, and weather conditions. This allowed us to display stories relevant to each of the 160 screens across London.
It's crazy. It's over 350,000 permutations of data that can be displayed dynamically. So it's really dynamic ad serving, but content that's really useful and relevant in the moment. So that's our I know the session's over, but I'm almost done. Last, be 10x. And by this, we talk about thinking transformatively around problems. Google X is an innovation skunkworks inside Google, where a group of kind of out there engineers work under Sergey Brin's guidance to create products and services and things that are 10 times better. 1,000% improvements require a complete rethink of problems where we push the edges of the technology and come up and devise radical solutions, not incremental solutions, radical solutions. So what you see here is a prototype of the Google Chauffeur. It's a self-driving car. This particular prototype has no steering wheel. And you think, well, what on earth is Google doing in cars and car manufacturing? We did register to be a car manufacturer in May, and it's really to transform human transportation. There are 1.5 million deaths on the road each year. There are millions and millions of hours of wasted idling time. There's inefficient use of fossil fuels that are damaging our planet. So if you could take a lot of data signals, make transportation safer for people, eliminate ugly parking lots, traffic jams, and so forth, it's a better outcome for people. And that's what drives these engineers. This is a fascinating product. This is Google Lens. It's a lens that allows a wearer who might be diabetic to monitor his or her glucose levels just through the fluid in the eye. Now, this is a huge public health problem, 230 million diabetics in the world. And so Google's engineers first had to take and figure out the smallest possible miniature battery to power this thing, and filaments, sensors that would not irritate the eye. A signal transmits from this lens to either an insulin pump or a wearable device or a mobile phone to instruct the person it's time to take their insulin, therefore improving the lifelong health of someone suffering from diabetes. It's also being used for presbyopia, which is a condition of the eyes and the problem in autofocusing as we get older. And it can actually autocorrect and make nearsightedness a clearer experience. This is not just kind of lunacy. This is not experimental. This technology has been licensed to Novartis, who are live and in production and shipping product very soon. This will change the course of health for millions and millions of people. So we can't predict what the next big thing will be, but we think there are a couple of innovations that might have significant impact. One of these is Adidas has some interesting new technology where they are knitting conductive fibers into stretchy garments to produce textile electrodes. And they are just a few square centimeters in size, but they pick up electrical signals from the heart and other muscles. These data can be transmitted through the garment to a small gadget and then eventually wirelessly transmitted to your mobile device for processing and display. It looks like it's fancy and expensive. That thing is costing about 60 euros. In January, Google acquired Nest. This is a company that manufactures web-connected smoke alarms and thermostats. It really is a sensor in your home that allows you to set a preference for your preferred temperatures, and it understands your movements and adjusts heating accordingly. So yes, homes will become conscious and learn your behaviors, but even more interesting, a smart device in the home or several smart devices in the home become links of homes with smart devices, and that becomes a network that allows a power company to more efficiently provision power to your home. And when power companies have better signals, the entire power grid can become more efficient. And this, again, is good for the planet because there's an enormous amount, 30% wastage in power distribution today. If we can solve that problem, we do a lot to help the long-term health of the planet. So these are just a few of the trends that we see and are set to take off. We can't quite predict what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Even the next 5 months is a bit hard. But what we do know is that technology will continue to advance exponentially, and mobile devices will be at the heart of it. So embrace, for all of us, embrace tech innovation. Get used to this age of disruption. Co-opt tech and disruption to future-proof your business, and follow the consumer, because the future is now. He and she is living that reality now. So the future is yours to make the most of. Be fast, be relevant, be 10x. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Some great visions of the future there. I just wanted to ask you a question about UK, US, and media. Last night at Brandcast, I tweeted a rather nice quote from you. It says, "The rules of media are being rewritten in the UK." So in context of your US experience and coming to London, when, a few months ago?
June.
June. Give us a sense of how you see the UK market.
Well, because it's such a dense market and so much is concentrated here from both creative, ad practice area, and what I would say technology. So the adoption rate of technology platforms to inform media buying decisions, to really do automated buying in ways that are more targetable and more efficient in the end for brand marketers. That practice area is the most advanced here. And then when you just look at what percentage of advertising represents in the GDP alone, the UK has the highest single percentage. So it's a very important market. It's already 35% digital. And then you have this mass adoption and sophistication, the practice area and the expertise and the quantitative bent in the marketing arena in the UK is the most advanced in the world.
Driving UK PLC.
There you go.
Thank you very much indeed. Great to see you, Eileen. Thanks for coming to
Cheers.
Engage today.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Eileen Naughton.